Hello, loves. Good evening. I am coming on for day 2 of our live challenge, and my topic tonight is grieving the death of a dream. And I am going to start to answer the questions you guys put on my post over on YouTube. So that will be coming up this week as well. I'm going to start to answer the questions that you guys posted that you wanted me to cover during this 30 days. So I'm going to start to take those questions and answer them as well. But tonight, God put this on my heart today because, life can throw so much at you, and we tend to create, dreams and expectations. We create so much ideas around our dreams of how our life is supposed to be. When I'm talking about grieving the death of a dream, this can apply to so many different areas of life. Guys, this applies to relationships. It applies to the money you thought you would make from getting your degrees. It applies to starting a business. It applies to your parents and the lack thereof, or it applies to so many different areas where we can struggle to accept the reality of situations, the reality. Another area where this applies is where, I know in my own life, I've had aspirations. I have things of how I see myself and things I've wanted to do for myself that I felt like I'm a businesswoman. I want to just be a businesswoman. And I've shared over the years about just the struggle with being called to ministry, the struggle with the word ministry, church, spiritual abuse, church hurt, and this constant pull to go towards ministry and to follow this calling on my life, and feeling so conflicted all of the time. And in each chapter, each area and season of my life, as I've surrendered more to God, surrendered more into my calling. Not that that has to be anything traditional about church at all, but that's our fears, right? It feels like giving up what you really want. It feels like surrendering. I posted inside my inner circle for coaches today that surrendering feels like death. It feels like failure. It feels like you're dying. It feels like you're lost. It feels like conflict. It feels like confusion. Surrendering, even healing, feels as if you're giving up on something you really, really wanted in order to give it to God and let go, because you're realizing it's not meant to be, or it's not happening, or it's not happening your way. And it is a grieving process. When you have had an idea for how you've expected your life to be, when you've made plans, detailed plans, when you've worked so hard to get to a certain place in life, and I'm talking about relationships, I'm talking about that relationship where you gave it your all, I'm talking about friendships that have just broken your heart. You thought you had ride or die friends and sisters, and you thought that they loved you the way you love them. Anything that it applies where you've had a dream or an idea of how you thought something should be, or how you thought it was going, or even what you thought was the reality, and it's not. And there is a grieving process to accepting the truth of our situations. There is a grieving process to accept the truth. The truth. The Fly Kelly says, geez, you in the sauce. Listen, to accept the truth that it's over, it's not happening, it's not going your way, that this isn't working the way you saw it going. It's not a straight line from A to B. That God has something different for you, that God has something greater in store for you. It's not this person, it's not that business, it's not that money, it's not that stream, it's not these friends, it's not these family members, it's not that job, it's not that degree, it's not that promotion, it's not whatever it's been. And I know, speaking from experience, some of the greatest heartbreak that I've had especially has been in relationships. You know, thinking that you're in love, thinking that this is the end all be all, this is the greatest love you've known up to that point. And you, in your mind, you've created plans and dreams with this person. You're seeing marriage, you're seeing forever, right? The Fly Kelly says, friends you've lavishly poured into, right? Fly Kelly, to only discover, yeah, they didn't really love you like that. They didn't really have your back like that. And all that pouring and doing and love was coming from a good place and a pure heart that you really, truly loved, but they weren't exactly on the same page, or they weren't quite capable, or their heart maybe just wasn't quite as pure, or they just didn't see you like that, or maybe you just weren't their preference or their cup of tea, or maybe they just are so wounded and they're hurting so bad and they just can't even give back to you what you've given to them. Maybe it's the death of the dream you've had of just how you thought your life would go, how you thought your life would be. And it's just not turning out like that. And it's gone so much more difficult and so hard. And why is this so hard? That's who I'm talking to tonight. You've got to go through the grieving process. You've got to go through the grieving process. You've got to let go. You have to be willing to say, God, I have to let this go so that I can move forward with my life. I have to bury this and grieve this and accept that it's not happening the way I thought it was going to happen. It's not going the way I thought it should go. I have to somehow find a way to release the pain, the disappointment when life has rejected you, when things that you've sown and sown and sown and it's not working, and you've had a series of losses. Oh, I know I'm talking to someone. A series of losses. I'm not talking about just one loss. I'm talking about loss after loss. I'm talking about disappointment after disappointment. And you're standing here now saying, God, I can't take anymore. I can't take any more loss. I can't take anything just failing and it's something else not working that I've put my hopes and dreams and my all into. Grief. It's grief, y'all. And we have to be willing to process the emotions. This is why you need therapy. Right? You need therapy. You need somebody who is safe to talk to. Right? Kinetic Vegan says, giving up makes me feel like I don't have faith, but I've lost so many times. I just want to win. My therapist a few weeks ago, I was having a venting session with my therapist, and I was just so frustrated and just going in. And she stopped at the end and she said, Rebecca, but have you ever been this surrendered? Have you ever been this humble? Have you ever been in this place spiritually? Have you ever been at this place so connected to God, so sold out for God? So guess what, guys? Sometimes what she said, let me finish what she said. She said, so isn't everything you've been through worth where you're at now? And I just, right? Like, oh my, I had to sit with that for a second. Because the trials and the tribulations are working everything out in you that needs to be worked out for you to be prepared for your blessings. And literally, there was nothing more I could say in my therapy session, because when she said that, I had to honestly own that she was right. So everything that had got me to this point of complete surrender to God. Yes, sis, Stacy, for my good. It's all working for your good. See, we have ideas of how we want this to go, right? And our ways are not God's ways. There is divine mind, and then there's our mind. Divine mind is working everything for your perfect happiness and for your good. And God is protecting you from what you think you want and what you think is best for you, and it's not. And you just don't know any better, because we don't know. We truthfully don't know, right? We don't know what will make us happy, Fly Kelly. We just think. We just have theories. Little John Roberts says, amen, but boy, did it hurt. Yes, it hurts. So the message this evening is grieve. Grieve so you can truly let go. What does healthy grief look like? How do you intentionally grieve? You hold space for the pain and you feel the feelings. Some of you need to schedule some grief. You need to take a time out, take a Friday afternoon, a Saturday afternoon, and sit down with a journal and sit in a quiet space and start writing out your feelings and writing out the grief. You can do scheduled grief instead of waiting for it to overcome you and completely overtake your life because emotions that you've been repressing have finally caught up with you. Schedule some time to grieve. Sit down with your feelings and let them flow. Cathartically release your feelings. That's right, Fly Kelly. Grieve so you can truly let go. Because God has more for us. God has more for you. God has better, greater, gooder for you up ahead. Up ahead. But we have to be willing to grieve what didn't happen and what didn't come to pass. Right? Even worse, when you can't get rid of the person that hurt you. Little John Roberts, that's a choice. We're not stuck with anybody. Give him to God. Give that person to God. Hand them over. Hand them over. Okay. So grieve. Grieve and let go. If we're truly honest, we stay attached to people because we don't want to let go. We want them to change. We're holding on and holding out hope, and they continue to hurt us again and again and again because we're holding out hope that they'll change, that it can somehow make it right, that God can turn all this wrong into right, and God can just make them act right, and God can... That's not how God works. God doesn't make anybody do anything. Only person you're in control of is you. Your relationship with God. If someone is not leaning in and submitting to God and surrendering their life to God, you can't force that. You can't make that happen. Son's mother. John, give her to God. Give her to God. This too shall pass, but give her to God. Let God deal with her. I dare you to give her to God and take your hands off of it. Grief. Grieve, grieve, grieve. Grieve what isn't so you can embrace what's to come. God has new for us, guys. All right. I love you guys. Mwah. Blessings in abundance. Make sure you click the link in my bio. Donations you can give in there to Rebecca Lynn Pope Ministries. There's all types of courses. If you need to work through grief and healing, there's the Work Masterclass. There's a link inside of my bio to take the Work Masterclass. Make sure you sign up for that. It will help you immensely. Immensely. All right. Mwah. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Oh, don't forget, certification is open applications to become a certified abundant life coach, make sure you click the link in my bio also. All right. We need more healers. We need more light workers. We need more people to show up to help make a difference in the world. All right. You're welcome, John. Blessings and abundance, guys. Bye. Rob is a teacher. Hi, love you too, sweetheart. Thank you so much. You're welcome to Fly Kelly. Much love. Stacy, I love you. Bye, sis. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.